Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ma's Table Talk. For nearly 20 years, millions of players have explored Azeroth. We fought dragons, we fought the old gods, we defeated them, we saved kingdoms, collected mounts, chased achievements, and ventured into every corner of this incredible world. But tonight we're talking about a part of World of Warcraft that can't be found in a dungeon journal. The part that isn't measured by item level, the part that is entirely came up and written by players, which is role play. For some, it's basically the beating heart of Azeroth. Many of your chat, Shobek, and lovely people here are living this dream of role play. And when people talk about World of Warcraft role play today, um, one name is impossible to miss. So, through passion and creativity and the incredible community that you have built, um, tonight's guest is basically somebody who has inspired countless players to experience Azeroth, not just as a game, but as a living world where every character has a meaning, has a purpose, and a story that is worth telling. So, everyone, please join me in giving the warmest of welcomes to the one and only Mr. Shobek Sama.
Oh, that was a
Yay!
really sweet intro. Oh, thank you. And to everyone with the heat comment, yeah, stay inside and game more. Just stay inside, game more. That is very sweet. Wow. Thank you for the
Oh, thank you
unbelievable
for the
intro.
subs. And gladly. Um, Shobek, again, welcome to Ma's table. It's honestly such an honor to have you here. Um, Before we dive into role play, stories and all the adventures that brought you here, um, I just want to say, first of all, thank you for the time, that you took to join, especially I know that your health is kind of at the moment a bit off. So I know many people, myself included, have been really, 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 really looking forward to this conversation. There is even someone in China, right, that is like literally sleeping now and was like, please tell Shobek I love him so much, or he will kill me. So I'm alive. I'm alive. Let's start kind of at the very beginning. Um, Funny question. What was your very, very first WoW character?
My very first WoW character was a Tauren warrior. I think his name was
Okay.
Zevrox. And I chose Tauren warrior because Nick, my friend that I live with right now, we've been friends all my entire life. He told me that when the Taurens leveled, they were the only race that grew as they leveled. So I was like, "Oh snap! I want to play a Tauren warrior because I want to be this gigantic cow. We're gonna get even bigger." And we played in a friend group, and each person did like a different race. So like my friend Andy did an undead, my brother did a troll, Nick's brother Adam did an orc, and then Nick did an undead because obviously we're running out of races. But yeah, I had to be the Torn guy, and I was like, "Let's go Torn warrior. Let's do this."
Amazing. um, do you remember the moment when WoW kind of stopped being just a game and wanted to be that world where you
Instantly,
constantly want to be in instantly?
the
Really?
character creation screen. I think everyone was sold. I think everyone when you went to that character creation screen, if you were gaming before WoW came out and you were playing like Game Boy, N64, PlayStation games, RPGs, Sega Dreamcast. Maybe you have some stuff on your computer, even RuneScape before. Once you saw that character creation screen, and that like you could be a hero in a world or like a character in a world with other players, it was completely like that was it. RuneScape was like a really big moment for me, but seeing WoW and like that level of graphics in world It sold it immediately. Sold it
Uh,
immediately. We were
But
all
what was the
addicted. Mom was getting us every single neighborhood kid got a laptop, and we were all just playing. Sleepovers,
wow?
every day after school. All that mattered was get on WoW, play the game.
What was the first game you ever played? Do you remember as a child?
I have. I don't know if it was. I went over to Trent's house and he had a Sega Dreamcast, or if it was like Game Boy and PlayStation. Because I played. I remember playing like Jurassic Park on Sega Dreamcast. But then I also
Mm-hmm.
remember Nick having Sonic. But if we met Nick, that means I don't know. It's something out of there. Like I don't know if it was Pokemon on the Game Boy or Sega and 64. PlayStation. I don't know. It's hard to say which one was
Yeah.
first, but they all compounded. Like at that
Mm-hmm.
era, everything came out like back to back to back. So we were playing everything. Like we were
Yeah.
just playing everything all the time.
Truly, the yeah. I
Yeah, it was.
remember actually on the Sega, like a game, I don't even know the name, but it was kind of a circus, and you were somebody in the circus, and you had to jump over like balls and
It
lions
was
and
that
stuff like that. It
simple, and that
was
was it.
that simple, and I loved it, played it all the time. And then of course Game Boy, Super Mario first thing first, and then Sonic, and it just
Mm-hmm.
went from one thing to the Nintendo DS. And I was constantly the one that always had the newest kind of thing, the PlayStation, everything, because I
Mm-hmm.
really loved that. And the moment I tried WoW, I was like you, it was like a permanent thing. I tried other games in the meantime, like Rift and Final Fantasy, but I would always come back. I was hooked basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally. But see, this is the thing. WoW is one thing, but were you always interested in role play, or did you first spend your time, like questing, PvPing, raiding?
Um, when it comes to the role play stuff, it was always PvP because like we would just, we're playing Super Smash Brothers or we're playing Halo or we're playing even Pokemon with like, dueling. Everything was always competitive. It would always, because we're boys. It's what boys do. Like when you're hanging out and you all have the systems, like everyone's competing. So when we got in World of Warcraft and we knew that we could PvP, I've always been PvP. Um, but the way that I PvP'd was always different because we grew up as a neighborhood full of different
Mm-hmm.
boys, and we would just always do everything together, and that made us so animated. So like when we're playing, Super Smash Brothers and someone like charges up a Samus shot or like Falco punches or Neth's bat, we're always screaming at the top of our lungs, and so that being so animated and then also being out in the woods and just role playing like armor smiths, different archetypes, being role play just was just like who we were. We were just very animated whenever we gamed because we did it with everyone. Like even
Mm-hmm.
we did Warhammer. We did Warhammer, Hero Clicks, Mecha Clicks, 40K fantasy. So we're all the time always, always, always injecting fantasy. Like when I was a kid, the role play came from just always injecting or amplifying the reality of it. And that's what was so beautiful about being a kid because you're just the imagination, right? Everything is so colorful. And then being in love with WoW and the MMO, that all of that just kind of like carried on. And then we had the dawn
Mm-hmm.
of YouTube and machinimas, and we have
Oh God,
Swifty,
loved
we
it.
have Vertna, we have Drake Dog, we have Kenyon, Acreos. We have now people that are taking that imagination as a kid and then putting it now into videos where now it's like I don't have to watch Zoids or Thundercats before the school bus comes or wait for Tsunami. I can literally watch a hero be made and tell a story in the game that I'm addicted to.
Yeah.
And so then that is where it just kind of carried over and was just a thing that was forever.
I totally can. Yeah, I can see that happening. Especially when you said Swifty, he was one of the first streamers ever I followed because I think that I have my Naga because of him, because he was promoting it at the time lots, when he was just beginning. So
Hmm.
I totally get you. It's a it was a very wowish world for a while. You know what I mean? I mean, it still is, but for a short while, it was very focused on that. Um, was there ever a character that you made that surprised even you? Like, I mean, we see you now as, a night elf, but when you now said that you were a Tauren for the first time, I was surprised. I was like, okay, I didn't see that really coming.
A character that surprised me. Well, I would always jump between night elf rogue, human rogue, or undead. I was surprised with how much I like warrior, but my love for warrior kind of fades. I think the one character that really surprised me was my Guild Wars character. I actually really enjoyed Guild Wars, and there's a spec called Gun Saber. That character,
Hmm.
I think, was the character that really caught me off guard. Playing Gun Saber in Guild Wars. I know it has nothing to do with WoW, but Gun Saber, that was the character. I've tried playing other
Interesting.
things. Like I've tried when I was a kid, all my allowance would go to faction changes and race changes. I'm not even kidding you. My mom would probably cry to see how much money I spent on. I would literally be one day an orc, next day an undead, next day a human, next day like every single all the time. I would just be changing my characters all the time.
Okay,
Um,
Mom, don't watch this, please. Thank you.
yeah, I'm not even kidding you. Like in the thousands of dollars,
Oh God.
easily in the thousands, easily of how many times I would change. It was like every single time the cooldown was up, I'm changing. I was always trying to find
The
the
cooldown
identity.
even.
Hmm.
What's the cooldown?
I think faction change was, I think, I don't remember, maybe 7 or 30 days or something like that. You couldn't always faction
Mm,
change as much as you wanted to, but you could
mhm,
race change, I
mhm.
think, every few days or something like that. So I would
Oh,
just
okay.
be trying to find my identity because I'd be like
Mhm.
looking online and like looking at the pro players and being like, well, who do I want to be when when I grow up and like when I make it? Which is funny
Yeah.
because circling back to Night Elf, that's what my brother and I would always play when we were younger doing private servers. We would always play
Mhm.
Night Elf together. We'd have like matching names and matching styles. And so, yeah,
That's
going back
cute.
to Night Elf was it for me. And that's
Mm.
been that.
Um, Have you ever had an RP moment where you forgot that you were actually playing a game? Because my first video where I started following you was you doing the sounds, doing PvP and doing the sounds like
Hmm.
shoo shoo, and then shouting banga. And as somebody who is a very big Bleach fan since literally it came out, like I've
Hmm.
read the mangas, I'm following the anime, but when I heard you going bankai, I was like, follow. That's it, settled. So has there ever been a moment because you were so into it, when I saw you when you're PvPing, like your pupils they dilate and you're all into
Hmm.
it. But has there ever for you truly been a moment where you forgot about yourself and God damn it, my mod is like the Shobek does the sounds better. Of course, he's Shobek. I'm not him.
Yeah,
God
no,
damn it.
all the time. That's in every game. It's in every game. If I'm playing Zidane in Final Fantasy, if I'm playing Titus, if I'm playing Sora, if I'm playing Super Smash Brothers down to what color selection I am as Marth, every game I play, whether it's every game, Halo, all of it always, every moment.
No.
I like, I'm to the degree of weird where I prefer my character and I care about my character in game more than I do myself in real life. Whenever I play,
Okay.
the reason why I like gaming so much is that it's such a vibrant experience and you can do it from your home. And, people are adrenaline junkies, right? People like to jump out of
Hmm.
planes, bungee jump, but, having an incredible arena match or a BG or a world PvP moment, that it's just, it feels the same for me. I get lost in the moment and, yeah, it's something that I always find myself. I think there's never a moment where I don't find myself not in the world.
Mm. Well, I've heard about a kiwi experience today, and
What's
I
a
was like,
kiwi?
okay, you were eating a kiwi, it seems, with the hair on.
Yes.
I was like, well, I love your behaviors. I love your quirkiness and how you come across, and you're so open with who you are and what you represent. So that's always a lovely thing to see. But with that follows my next question, which is looking back now, could the Shobek from like 10 years ago ever could imagine becoming, one of the biggest RP creators in WoW?
I always knew that I was going to make it in streaming, but I never knew how I was. And
Okay.
I think the most honoring thing is that everyone makes it in their own way. Like when people make it, they are defined in specific ways, right? You have people that go rank one, people that get worlds first, people that get they're the tournament winner of a thing, or they're the highest DPS in the world. So everyone
Mm-hmm.
that goes into this industry and wins in their unique way. And I think the most honoring thing is that I'm winning in this way. And I guess in some ways I never imagined it to be this way, because I always felt the nature or the need to perform and like, oh, I'm not going to make it until I get rank one. And it's like, once I have that approval, right, then I can be somebody in the industry. And it's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
It was once I let that go and I actually just doubled down on who I was and what I loved, did everything kind of end up working out for me. And then now it's
Mm-hmm.
like I'm this person being recognized for, you know, making gaming a better space and trying to like
Mm-hmm.
relearn how to like have fun in the game and care about the journey, not the destination. And, go back to those roots, those beginning roots of gaming and role play and being this PvPer, or I guess night elf, right? And it's kind of crazy and very honoring to see myself blossom, because in a lot of ways I didn't plan for any of it. And in a lot
Mm-hmm.
of ways, over the 10 years of streaming, I've been constantly trying to grab onto things and see what does stick and what doesn't. And to see this stick is a really beautiful thing, and it's an honoring thing. I couldn't really ask for a better um brand, a better image. Um
Mm-hmm.
like looking at it, I think it's almost beautiful how it's like unfolding. Very beautiful. I'm very
Indeed.
honored.
So are we for having you all the
Oh.
time. What about becoming Shobek? Where does the name, for those who don't know, right, who watches this for the first time, where does the name Shobek come from?
Shobek came from I Nick got a new laptop, and I told my mom, I was like, Mom, Nick got a new laptop. I want to get into streaming. And at the time, I was on a laptop that I had to rotate ice packs on for me to game. So I had to have a
Mm-hmm.
tablecloth, and then I'd rotate the ice packs. And then I could only play for a certain amount of time before the laptop would get too hot after
Yeah.
I ran out of my ice packs. And
Oh God.
so once I got this new laptop, because this is when Asus came out, and Nick got this new brand spanking one, and I begged my mom for the lower tier one, and she got me it. And I was like, oh my God,
Mm.
this is around Missa Pandaria. Soda Poppin is living this life that I am just living with my mom, and we're in this super small little beach house, and I'm just watching this guy have the time of his life. And I was like, I want this to be my life. So I got this
Mm-hmm.
laptop, and I'm sitting there. I bought a name change because I wanted to figure out a name, what was gonna be the name. And I spent over a weekend writing stuff down, and I never write. I joined private servers because I couldn't log in. The name change was there. You can't log in until you solidify it. I'm on
Mm-hmm.
private servers, rocking names and like just doing BGs and seeing how it feels to do abilities and kill people and be like, does this feel like it's me? Does it not feel like it's me? And then I literally had this name like Stun Tech. It was a really weird word. I was like, do I want to go Harushi, which was like a Japanese RP name, but then it felt a little bit too intense. And then I was like, well, Arena is really popular. And this is when like Wreckful's super popular too. I'm like, maybe I need like like an edgy rogue name in the Arena. So I was like, Stun Tech. Well, at that
Mm-hmm.
time, I was also listening to Showtech, which is a hardstyle DJ, because of
Mm-hmm.
Zeus. And because of Zeus and listening to Showtech, I started playing with the prefixes and suffixes of Stun Tech. And then I was like, well, I kind of like Showtech. I like show. And then I typed out Shobek. And then once I typed it out at the character creation screen, because it's very particular, you have to have your, I'm so weird with it. I would sit at the character creation screen with the name change thing, and I would type the name in to see if it would feel and speak to me. Once I
Yeah, yeah.
typed in Shobek, I literally just hit enter. I did literally just
Mm-hmm.
done. Just
Yeah.
done. I found the name and it was so crystal clear. There was no second guessing. There was nothing. I literally just
Yeah.
typed it out, enter, done. Done. That was
Look,
it.
I got goosebumps. I know, I totally can, I can totally see that happening for you because it almost feels like, you found the name, but the name found you too, in some sort of,
Yeah, it's
way.
when like a pet finds you and the name comes for the pet. And
Mm-hmm.
it's this relationship and it's this bond. And I wish everyone to have that bond. A lot of people don't get that
Mm-hmm.
bond and it's hard to find that bond and it's vulnerable to find that bond. Um, I was very fortunate to find that bond and to have
Mm-hmm.
something that I was so particular and peculiar about names because again, you have like Shroud, Summit, Soda Poppin', Snuts, Acreos, Kenyon, Wreckful. You have all of these players, Swifty, Venruki, you've all of these, Sea-Doo. The names go on. They're all so unique, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you hear them and they're so unique and they're not copied. And it's like they it had to be like spur. And I was like
Mm-hmm.
so happy to be able to formulate and create the name and have something where like almost like I felt like I could sit at the table. Like it was a name
Mm-hmm.
that was like, whoa, this is a name. Like this was a
Yeah.
name that wasn't forged before. And here we are. Now we have a name. And like this is a
Mm-hmm.
name that's, I know. So I was very grateful. I was very, very
Mm-hmm.
grateful.
I can
So,
imagine that is finding yourself in the character is really important. I used to play usually Draenei's because they're bulky.
mm-hmm.
One of my first characters was actually a male Draenei because I found the females just kind of
Squidward.
weird. Yes, but then I would just dabble into, humans, but I was never satisfied because there was never a me, my stature, my figure, my bulkiness in the
Mm-hmm.
character. And then suddenly when they announced Cool Tyrants, I was over the moon because I was like, oh my God, literally a character that looks like me, that. And nowadays, my character literally, that's my logo, like half of her face
Mm-hmm.
and half of mine. And it I'm her and she's me. It's
100%.
literally as easy as that. So I can totally relate, and I love that you found that for yourself because this is just
Mm-hmm.
something that is amazing. But when you mention all of these streamers, and their kind of impact on life and the streaming in general, has streaming since you started it changed the way you role play or you tell stories, or has it just kind of enhanced it?
No, because I was doing it off stream. Um, I think the only thing that's changed is that it has allowed me to be recognized.
Mhm.
Um, because I would just do it regardless. And so, I mean, obviously there's pressure, right? There's pressure when you are role playing in front of a larger audience. So that can, cripple you or make you grow. But if you go back
Mhm.
into my old role plays, I mean, things have naturally grown over the years. But I don't know if that's really because of streaming or just me continuously doing something and being better and doing it over and over and over again. So I think streaming
Mhm.
just kind of allowed me to have my role play be recognized, but it doesn't. I mean, I guess it amplifies me in some ways because I get to like we're doing on Skull Rock with all of the night elves, and be able to interact with other guilds
Mm.
at large, which allows me
Yeah,
to
yeah.
formulate different stories and be able to create narratives for people to experience, which I'm very blessed for.
Do
Um,
you write them down ever?
no, it all comes to me in the moment.
That is the most amazing thing of it, right? That
Yeah.
it's just the spur of the moment, and the flow is just different instead of, writing a script or doing something like that.
Some people are incredibly talented. My editor, Witcher Pie, is incredibly talented at doing that. I know another guy, Storm Rage, is incredibly talented. Post production has a lot of power, but I think there's a magic, as well to in the moment. So I am lucky enough to hate editing enough where I do everything in the moment. But no, I get lost so much in the character that, again, I make every time I log into an MMO, how can I make this like a One Piece episode where it's a different experience, not only for myself, but everyone that I see in the game, because that's what an anime is, right? Luffy goes
Mhm.
from one arc to the next, one island to the
Mhm.
next. Naruto progresses, one story to the next. And so when I log into the game and I'm leveling and I'm going through things, you really are just meeting new people and seeing new things. And I try to make it like that. And so that kind of feeds into a lot of the inspiration where, sorry, my voice is terrible, but
It's
it
okay.
feeds into a lot of that inspiration in my mind through all the movies and all the video games. It just puzzle pieces this narrative. And I think that's just been my superpower. I think is being able to do that on the fly and being able to like in the moment create a story just based on like someone's name. Like
Yeah.
I met a human outside and he was like, "Yo, I came to learn the elves," and the next thing you know, he's jumping off the tree and
And
making a night
surviving.
elf, surviving because he's the actually true chosen from Alune.
Yes.
He's actually
I
more
I
chosen than
love
I
that
am.
video. I love that video. It was just like everybody was like, "Wait, he survived?
Yeah,
He's
he
not dead? How is
survived,
he survive?"
jumped off the tree. I'm like, okay, this guy's more chosen than me now. Everyone's gonna want him to be the leader.
No, 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 no. We don't do that. But the funniest thing is that you said you hate editing, and yet your community is literally constantly having their finger on the clip button, right, with you, because clipping what you say sometimes because you're so outspoken and what you say whatever you think. The last thing I clipped from you was the fallopian tube one, so it's a fun experience to be just in your stream and just rock out
Yep.
to what you say and
Hey,
have fun
listen,
with it.
everyone, fallopian tube is not the inner ear. All right, we are learning here. 32 years old, female anatomy. We're gaining some points. All right, I don't have the cape yet. I'm
Hmm.
not 99, but I'm getting some levels in. All right. Okay.
Yes, but the point was not what was said about the fallopian tubes. The point was what was said afterwards.
We don't
So
need to get into that, but yeah, 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 yeah.
okay, okay, let's step away. People often know you as, the RP guy, the one and only, but I'm curious about the player behind the character even more. Outside of RP, what do you genuinely enjoy doing in WoW? We see you fishing a lot, right? You love to fish, you just love to chat to people and fish. And we know you like, what is it? What do you genuinely enjoy doing?
I generally enjoy PvPing, and I don't do that anymore.
That was my next question, PvE or PvP, but okay.
I enjoy PvP. I miss PvP.
Why do you not
Hopefully,
do it
Plus will bring
anymore?
it back. I want WoW Arena to be a global phenomenon again. I want PvP
Hmm.
to feel like something again. I want people to have their names feel like they have meaning when they're in the world and stake their claim when they fight. I love PvP. Um, since I don't do that and I'm kind of just waiting, I just pour my heart into just the game as a whole. I try to
Mm,
have as much fun doing everything. Right now, I'm leveling a warrior to be, assisting as a tank in the guild and help people be able to do things when they want and need to do things. So I
hmm.
really just enjoy, I think, the world in general because it's my favorite. It's my favorite world. the world that feels the
Mm.
most. It's not like a nostalgia thing. Like I just think WoW is for me the best place to just exist in. So I do everything in the game because I like to exist in the game. But yes, I'm
Mm.
a PvPer at heart. That's been the driver for me, and it will always be the driver. But I do like everything. I
But
like
have you
everything.
played retail seriously at any point? Or was it always just more like, was retail ever a thing?
Um, Retail wasn't a thing. I don't think ever in my life because
Okay.
once TBC came out, we went to private servers and played vanilla. And then all I would do is come back and play the beginning and end of an expansion, but the stomach of the expansion, I would be on a vanilla server. So I
Mm-hmm.
always would end up playing just vanilla servers and be very seasonal. I think once they added flying mounts, the game was just, every expansion, not to, get into it, but every expansion just felt like the pieces weren't fitting more and more for me. And it just became more of a disconnect and more about who's playing it and who I can play with. So like my high school
Mm-hmm.
friends are playing, let's go play with them. Right. Um,
Mm.
so for me, MMOs have always been classic WoW,
Mm.
and retail has always been like a come at the excitement or come at the launch because maybe it's different this time, and then come at the end to prepare for the next excitement, like the next launch. So it's always just been
Mm.
the back end and the beginnings of retail. Never would play it.
Okay. But is there something you enjoy in WoW, even in Classic, that would surprise your community and your audience? Is there anything?
What do you mean surprise me? Like in
Well, yeah, like somebody would say, "Oh my God, okay, Shobek just fishing," that's not what they see you as, kind of. Is there anything like picking flowers or, making potions? Is there anything that would surprise, or are you like an open book and you're just like, my
no,
community
Mook, there
knows
isn't
me?
no, there isn't really anything that like sticks out. I think there's nothing really that sticks out too much in the game, if I'll be
Okay,
honest. It's really just
that's
PvP. I
amazing.
like I like raid leading. I love
Hmm.
I love being that like super overstimulated, losing control, freaking out, whelps left side, right side,
Handle
playfully,
it.
by the way, just full screaming at everyone making a mistake while full panicking. So everyone gets super overstimulated and then everyone really starts making mistakes. And it's just this absolute shit show. And it's just like the stakes are rising and it's like everyone's panicking and it's like I'm
You just
screaming
want
at
to see everybody
everyone.
burn. That's it.
Huh?
You just want to see everything burn. It's like,
Yeah, I just want to see, dude, when you see one person, like there was an IPA yesterday, is like, he's like trying to do that where we jump spot and dead mines onto the wheel, but the casters can still hit him and like they could all swap and I'm screaming at him. And because I'm screaming at him, he gets overstimulated and like keyboard turns like 6 seconds, like full 6 seconds to keyboard turn. He's getting blasted by mages because he's so overstimulated. Oh, I love it, dude. That is my bread and butter. I guess that's my bread
okay,
and butter. Overstimming comms as a raid lead.
yes, okay, there we go, people. Now we know. Now we know his secret. This
Just
is what
wait
he's
till
doing.
hardcore Nixia. That shit's breaking the internet.
Oh God.
100%.
Oh God. Well, this is a good thing to follow up, kind of, because has it, I mean, if you're comfortable talking about it, because you're very open about your ADHD and, all of it that encompasses it. Do you like, how does your ADHD affect the way you experience WoW? Because here you talk about, like, oh, I'm gonna, overstimulate everybody because I'm gonna get overstimulated and everything. Has it ever affected you in any kind of way?
Probably. I mean, I kept getting kicked from arena teams because I blind the wrong target. You can go talk to my arena partner,
And
Cabby. That guy, I, it was literally a running joke. Like, I don't know why this crux has been my crux for my entire life. In arena, I get so encapsulated in the moment. I end up
hmm
blinding the wrong target all the time. I blind the wrong target when I was a kid. I got removed from the arena team with my friends that I played. And as a grown up, I still blind the wrong target. I think it's undiagnosed. I don't know what I have, but I have to have something. There's no way playing this many games. I would skip school to play games. So there's something here. There's just no way. Probably have something, but it's been a superpower and it's been probably a crux on some things, but I never look at it as a negative thing because the way that I look at detail and the way that I'm able to feel and experience things allows me to, I don't know. That's just me. It's allowed me to play the game the way that I play it. So I wouldn't change it.
Which means that your mind is constantly engaged, right? That's kind of
very deeply
the sum
engaged.
of it.
Yeah, very deeply
But
engaged.
does role play help with that? Does it help you focus because it's engaged at all times?
No,
Ever thought about
I would
that?
say it makes it harder. Makes it
It
harder.
makes it harder, okay?
Yeah, it makes it harder. I think with streaming, with role playing, you have to constantly create a new idea and create a new thought, create a new thing. That's like the downfall of RP PvP, or I guess even just role playing in general as a streamer. You have to like constantly make it new. So in some ways it's challenging because it's like a pressure versus, just dialing in, not talking, or just, maybe screaming. I don't know if that answers the question or not, but
No, it's okay. But I think for you, because when I am in your streams, I see you, saying things and then apologizing for saying things, right? Which kind of for me is a sign that your ADHD is actually a, like as you said, a superpower, and your creative strength, because you say things that people love to hear and even they react to even though you don't notice it. Do you see it as a creative strength, like your ADHD, or is it, like as you said, now more of a a negative side to it?
no, absolutely a strength. I only say sorry because I don't know if sometimes I yap too much because I feel like
No,
I need to get the whole emotion out. Or I don't know, sometimes I say sorry if I'm not at a certain level. Because in a lot of ways, I'm like a director of a movie.
that's amazing.
And in a lot of ways, I have my own level of quality that I want to be able to provide. And if I show the world these clips in these moments, and then they want to come see me live, and I fall short of that, I will apologize. That's just that's just what I do. And I mean, can't change it. Is it a good thing? No, but I apologize. Chat will tell me to shut up and they'll be like, it's okay. But I have my own standard and I put myself on that standard, and maybe that's a bad thing, but go back 3 years, the way that I role play, the lines that I say, how I say it, the vernacular, the camera control, everything like that. It all is like leading up to something better, leading up to something greater. I always want to do better. I always want to do greater because it's not about me now. It's about like, where's my role play in 5 or 10 years? Where's my role play if I can get to 5, 10, 15, 50,000 viewers? What type of influence, what type of moments, what type of machinimas, what type of change can we enact? So a lot of times I just apologize. Maybe it's to myself, maybe it's to everyone, but it's like a default response if I'm not doing it at my standard. But my ADHD is a superpower. I think it's all superpower.
It definitely is, because the magic of role play is big. It's so very encompassing of so many things. And let's for a second imagine that somebody here tonight has never role played before, right? What would you tell them? What's what makes great role play, for example?
What makes great role play is the ability to be vulnerable. You do not have to say, crazy vernaculars or wild lines to role play. Role playing is as simple as saying hello to someone else in the video game, because you don't know what ends up blossoming anything. So being able to be vulnerable to extend the opportunity for things to happen. Because what ends up happening is, say for example, you and I are questing and I don't say anything. Well, we just go questing. We're on our merry way. Well, let's just say we do end up questing. Okay, well, maybe I just say, hey, do you want to just group up? Something super bare bones. No storyline, no nothing. And you're just like, yeah, you know what? Cool, let's go quest. Well, we're gonna go into a cave now. So like, yeah, let's go do this thing together. Next thing you know, we overpull, we're battling it out, heals are going out, we're popping potions, and we squeeze the kill. We kill all the mobs, and then like a green drops. All of that adrenaline, all of that experience, all of that stuff, it's all unspoken. That is all role play because now we're having an experience together, right?
Mhm.
So it doesn't mean you have to go up to someone and be like, hail friend, I am Saronis, the night elves of the silver leaf. No.
Mhm.
You don't have to. You can if you want. But the biggest mistake everyone feels like, and biggest mistake I feel like everyone makes is that they have to be this grand master of role play. But realistically, it is just actually grouping up with someone and letting what the game is designed to do, which is to bring you entertainment, adventure, chaos, and unscripted content, right? Like the moments to be unveiled. That is the role play, whether it's spoken or unspoken. And then you might be like, depending on the after moment, maybe you do say a little bit something RP, or you just say, dude, that was crazy. And then you're like, yeah, that was insane. And then next thing you know, in my opinion, that's role play. Like, what are you going to do at an improv class? What do you do if you actually go LARP? Like, that's what it is. It's just enjoying the unwritten moment with somebody. Because realistically, role play isn't really by yourself. I mean, you can role play by yourself for yourself, but it's like if a tree falls in a forest, do you hear it?
Yeah. If you can't hear it, then did it happen?
So gotta do things together. So that's the number one thing, is just like getting people to do stuff together. And then I feel like that just blossoms into everything. I think people really miss that in today's gaming.
What's the one piece of etiquette kind of that every new role player should know? Is it that what you just said, like the talking to somebody else?
Yeah, the one piece is that you don't have to be good. Like you don't have to think you have to be crazy literature, like literally, or what is it called? I don't know, something like witty. You do not have to be incredibly witty in order for you to role play. It's really just the extension of like wanting to play the game with somebody. I think that's the one advice I would give.
But you have to find yourself, right, in the character that you role play. Unless, I mean,
I think that's a
can you role
mistake.
play pretty much anything or anybody?
You can really do anything you want. I feel like, the big thing that makes people not get into it is they feel like they need to have this kind of like grand idea. The thing is that the power of role play is that there's like different tiers, and the power of just extending the offer to play with somebody gets you to care about the game and your character a little bit more. Because if we had that moment in the dungeon and then a green drops and I have that green and I'm excited about that item, then I care more about my character. And because we've had that experience, then that now supports the journey and the hero's journey all the way to level cap. And when you compound onto that, now you have somebody who cares about how they act in the world, and they care how they treat people, and they also care for their character. And then that trickles in rivers and deltas into the MMO sphere and everything. And then you have another level. We have people that are like, oh, well, I want to have like my RP name. So like you have one dude that doesn't care about their name, but then they have that moment, maybe their next playthrough, they care about their name or they figure out a name. Then we have a guy that does care about their name. And then we have a guy that also cares about what type of vibe he wants to be, like what type of hunter, what type of rogue. And then you have a guy that is that, and then they have a total RP3 profile. And then you have a guy that has literally redone every single macro to match this vision, total RP3 profile, every single encounter, super role play base. He's now in a community actively. There's so many tiers, but there's not like, it just all depends on like who you are. But it's really role playing to me is just going back to how you played the game, which was treating the game as fun and entertaining, and letting that off the cuffness kind of unfold for people. Because in today's world, we are, what's the best YouTube guide? Where do I find this? Skip that, arrow, like great leveling guide, arrow, speed run, and only care about these stats to an item and not even care about,
Mhm.
how you get the item or the moment that led for that item to be even achieved. People will literally run Blackrock Depths for SGC. It's called Savage Gladiators Chain. It's
Mhm.
a incredibly rare epic drop where you have an option of getting different bosses, and then those bosses, they'll try to get the item, and people will just run that over and over and over again, and they'll just get the item and then move on. And then they're just
Yeah,
like
but
on to
that's
the
not
next
the
thing,
point,
on to the
right?
next thing, on to the next thing. And so, yeah, I think again, role playing, it's not a grand thing. You just play the game with people, and it's literally that.
Mm. Yes, amazing. I wonder, like, if Blizzard gave you one entire patch, right, dedicated purely to role players, what would you add? Is there anything that you would add?
Um,
Hey, I thought about my questions.
Give me a second.
No, no, you take your time.
I would like something that involves, was it Legion with the legendary artifacts with class halls, class
Yes,
quests?
yes.
I think I would like to do something similar to that, but make it more role play. Um, I think in classic WoW there isn't enough representation of the class quests. And I think how
Mm-hmm.
Legion presented it was just kind of wrong with the whole, sending these little troopy dudes to do missions. And I think it needs to kind of fit cohesively with the world and present solo challenges and group challenges and raid challenges, a lot like Scarab Lord. So, like, I'm imagining Scarab Lord on top of a mage tower. So you have solo, Scarab Lord, and then maybe something with like PvP and ranking that is a very large time investment. Uh, slow
Mm-hmm.
dripped, slow dripped achievements and dopamine compounding to create this experience, I think, for people that allows them to feel like they're their class and earn
Mm-hmm.
something that represents their class. And when they earn that, they get the pride of saying that they've earned it, and people recognize them as a upper echelon or a, like a tier one player of their class, and not just somebody that's like busted out a little thing for a day or two and got like a colorway skin of something like that. But more class quests, more
More
class,
class math. Good.
more class halls, or class things.
Mm. Since you mentioned class holes, is there a zone where you think that it has great untapped RP potential?
First one that came to mind was Czar. Mm,
Okay.
not Czar, Ajara. Ajara. Ajara
Azara.
has a lot. Um, Daenerys has a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Daenerys and Ajara, I think.
Daenerys
Maybe a
and
little
Azara.
Winter Spring Jutsu,
Like,
but
I'm curious to hear of chat. What does chat think that, like, which zone has untapped RP potential? You can let us know. I'm curious to hear also what people are kind of fancying. Um, we talked about, you know, what you think great role play is. But when I see you and you know, what you do and the content you bring out or somebody else brings out, it doesn't matter, but what you do, you are very much a storyteller. So there is a difference between being a role player, a storyteller, and both at the same time, right? Um, what makes a great storyteller? Is it just that feeling that you have of what you said, you know, to role play and to kind of live in that in the game as yourself, or is it do you need to tap into something else to be a great storyteller, like versus a great RPer?
Mm,
Don't frown the brows.
no, I'm trying to think. It's an interesting question.
Thank you.
Being a storyteller is incredibly hard.
Mhm.
Being a live storyteller is incredibly hard. I think being a live storyteller and an RPer goes kind of hand in hand because there's no second takes.
Mhm.
So you need to just be everything. Some people like to maybe practice their role play. Some people like to write out as a role player, write out things that they would say and their vernaculars, and then story writers and tellers. It just kind of depends on how you are, right? Um, are you a post production storyteller or are you in the moment? Because if you do what I do, they're both intertwined. There is no one without the other. You have to be really
Mhm.
good at RP and you have to be really good at telling stories. So you have to be able to convey the message. You have to be able to invoke the emotion. You have to be able to influence, captivate, grab their attention, and make these people feel like they're in a different world. Um, and so you have to have all of that depending on what you are. If you're doing it in real time, you have to have it all. Um,
Mhm.
so I think they're hand in hand if they're in real time, but they're kind of separate depending on what type of prep work you do. But
Mm.
that's what I think.
Okay, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I'd also love to talk about something that's become much bigger than one person because, you know, when we talk about role play, it's mostly about yourself when you role play or others when they role play, which is elf core. Uh, where did the idea kind of first come from?
The first idea of Elf Core actually came from Emerald Dream server.
Okay.
It's a server that I played on in Mists of Pandaria. And Emerald Dream had multiple guilds: Warsong Battalion, Division 7, Clan Battlehammer. I forgot the Night Elf one. But there were race locked PvP guilds, and they were about their business, and they would throw it down in MOP. The server was very, very much alive in MOP because of these guilds and because of what they did. And we tried to do Elf Core with a guild called Hollow at the start of
Mhm.
Anniversary. There is this fascination between creating a race lock because when everyone chooses the same race, it's like an instant level of camaraderie. It's like when you meet somebody that speaks your language. Like I'm German, so it's a little bit more foreign to meet someone that's German. But if I meet someone that's German,
No,
it's a
no, stop. You German?
ja, ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch, but meine Family kommt auf Deutschland. So,
Okay, das habe ich nicht gewusst. But let's continue.
but there's this camaraderie, right? There's this feeling of like, oh wow, we're kind of from the same place. So
Mhm.
it makes everything that you do feel a little bit more special and unique.
Mhm.
And so, um, unfortunately, I disbanded Hollow. There's a meme Hollow remembers in my guild or in my chat forever now. But I've always wanted to do what those guys did back in the day because I grew up with those like magical moments. And
Mhm.
so with this Skull Rock server, which I wasn't even going to play on, I was like watching Grays for Days do it. And I was like, you know what? I didn't really want to do TBC anymore. And I was like, let's actually just do this. I don't know. I woke up one day and I was like, dude, let's just do this. Let's just do this. I'm going to lead the
Best,
elves
best.
and I'm going to do this. And that was actually probably a really, really good decision because It has allowed me to blossom into who I am. It's allowed me to my channel, my content. I was like pigeonholed by RP PvP moments. And now this has allowed me to open myself up where I'm giving my takes, my viewpoints on the game, my philosophy, and that hashtag restoring the RP and MMORPG, that's been there for years. It's just never
Mm-hmm.
really been directed appropriately. And so Elf Core allowed that to really be directed appropriately. And it has
Mm-hmm.
allowed me to meet so many people and have so many people come back to the game, find love for the game, and all of these things. And it's been really cool to, I was younger when I was watching these guys do it. And again, at that time I was starting to stream, and I remembered like I didn't want to play the game anymore alone. And that was like the really big thing about becoming a streamer. And so
Mm-hmm.
when I would see these guilds and I was starting to stream, I would literally post in like trade chat, "What's going on, guys? Coming at you live. It's your boy Shobek. If you want to come BG with me, just PST. This is my stream link." And I was like, man, we're going to get there one day. We're like, we can do these things. And
Yeah.
what a beautiful gift, 10 years later to now be able to create these stories and these moments for people everywhere, and to do what I saw these guilds do when I was younger. And so
Mm-hmm.
Elfcore has been a beautiful stepping stone for not only who I am, but as a content creator, for my channel, for my brand, my identity, my maturingness as a content creator. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've matured very late in my careers. I feel like I'm
Mm-hmm.
now stepping into like my like I'm beginning to step into like who I am. And it took me a long, long ride to
Mm.
outgrow specific identities and things of like that. So Elfcore has been a really good thing.
Amazing.
I hold it near
What,
and dear.
night elves, because obviously you were probably at the time playing your night elf the most. I mean, your exterior changed, your look changed with the years. When I first saw some of your videos, you had, short hair, then you went from like
I try
dark
little
with
crazy things, trying to figure out what
then
works.
like exactly, but now you look like your characters, you look exactly like it. So the night elf, I guess, is just because, it is you in the game. But why hardcore?
Well, hardcore was the moment, right? At the time, that's what they wanted to do. And
Mm-hmm.
it's the only way to play self-found. I think self-found is the magic. I don't really care too much for hardcore, to be honest. I hope that's not an insult or an attack, but I don't like the idea of, investing people's time and the time being stripped away from, we have Aussie Auntie. She's DC'd literally over, she's Australian. She's DC'd like 8
Mm-hmm.
times. We've had a really nice guy, Briam. He died because he AFK'd at Menethil Harbor. And people lose these characters they've invested so much time in from maybe a disconnect or this, super freak accident. And
Mm.
the reality is that we lose those players. And it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to continuously get people to go again and go again. It's very difficult to do that at large.
Mm.
It's so hard to do it at large scale, especially when there's other things that are going on. It is very challenging. But I love self-found. And self-found is why we play. Self-found nurtures the philosophies that we talked about earlier in the podcast. It nurtures everything. It allows all of that to blossom and really let it to be shown and experienced. So self-found
And
is why we are actually
self-found,
playing.
and self-found means no using of the auction house, no using of trade,
Trading,
right?
you can't trade, no mailbox,
Mm-hmm.
and no auction house. So everything you do and earn is with the world dropping it for you, your experience in Azeroth.
Mm-hmm.
Azeroth is the main character. And so when you cut that off, everything that you do in the world is such a one-to-one intimacy between you and the world. It's like you
Mm.
are at home playing Gauntlet Dark Legacy, or maybe you're playing some solo RPG game and the item just drops for you and you're like, holy, I'm the chosen one. And
Yeah,
what's great
yeah.
about WoW is that you get to group up with other people that are in that same experience. And so when things drop from one another and they understand how precious that is, you get this celebration for someone else's success and achievement. And then they also
Mm.
celebrate you. And that just, it's like, high tide lifts all boats. And so
Mhm.
that's just what Self-Found does. It just lifts everyone up. And it also doesn't give anyone temptation to buy gold, skip things, go into auction house
Mm.
and purchase something and all of these things that kind of allow people to do a jump and skip and a rock, or maybe to just really, overpower themselves and kind of diminish the intimacy and the experience that the developers wanted these people to experience, because that is really
Mhm.
important to keep intact, because that plays into, again, circling back to what we were talking about, how you treat yourself in the game, how you view the game, how you view others in the game, how when you get something, how does that make you feel? And these
Mhm.
are all super important things to keep intact. And MMOs are very fickle. So once you start to potentially take these things away, then the player, it's like you give a player an inch, they'll take a mile. It starts to really, it's like one cog moves, 10 other cogs over here are moving. So
Mm.
Self-Found lets a lot of these bad cogs kind of freeze and lets all of these really good cogs prosper. And it's a fantastic game mode. So we're playing it because of that. We're playing
Mm.
it because it's
Well, you
Self-Found.
you don't know, but I am actually part of Elfcore.
No
I
way.
made, yeah, I made a character. So to be able to, do my research for the interview, I made a
Mm.
character, joined Elfcore on NA, and I am self-found, and I am a nervous wreck. Okay, I am just going around avoiding stuff and trying to mingle and being like. And the first item I got, I was like, "Oh my god, I got
Mm-hmm.
something! Yay!" So I'm totally tapping into it, which is very, very. It's rewarding, as you say. It's so different from retail because I'm a retail baby, and for me, it's like, oh, I have all of these, toys and mounts and all of it, and it's become, I mean, boring is too big of a word, but it's like just too quick. And when I stepped into Elf Core, everybody was so open and everybody was so nice, and it was like, yeah, even my mod didn't know this, but yeah, it's like I just tapped into it and I'm loving it. I am not gonna say my name or who I am in Elf Core, but
Mm.
somebody might still find me because I'm always
Okay.
Ma. So there you go. But I am tapping into it.
I'm happy to see it.
Yeah. Well, when you see somebody die, I'm gonna announce myself when I die. Um, what's kind of been your favorite story so far that's come out of Elfcore? Is there any story that kind of particularly, is something that you will remember at all times?
What do you think, chat? The forging of the Phantom Blade where I messed up 3 times, or maybe the Croc? I think maybe the
What is
Croc
it?
event. We pull the Croc
Okay.
full of level 10s.
Okay.
Everyone on the server is like sweating and leveling and race to Molten Core, and Shobek has a full raid of Night Elves and Stormwind, and I'm like, yo, let's pull the fucking Croc. Let's see
Oh
what
God, the
drops.
Croc in Stormwind.
And the guards don't care, and people are running around dying, and people are just
Oh
getting
God.
eaten, and we're all just like, run for your freaking lives. The Battle of North Watchhold was epic too. It's hard to say, but it's a beautiful thing that the server was able to create a lot of events for people that cherish, because for me, I'm like always, I'm the one that's making the events, so I have so many. But for some people, maybe
Mm-hmm.
they don't make all of them. But that's kind of the beauty, because they have like one of these events and experiences that is that kind of like special hold near and dear. So for me, it's really hard because I love all of them and I pour myself into all of them. And then,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you'll hear from chat like just so many different ones. Um, and I
There
feel
we go.
like
Mid
that's the
fighter
greatest
versus
reward.
the sewer beast. Mid
Hmm.
fighter. Somebody said, well, a couple of people said mid fighter versus the sewer beast.
That was the Stormwind Sewer Beast. Yeah. We
Yeah.
had a gnome. It's crazy. Like the whole video, I was in Stormwind at the time, and this is where we're kind of going back where you were saying, you know, being a what was it, a storyteller and an RPer,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So Midfighter was a gnome and he snuck into our guild. He just so ended up happening to be in Stormwind right next to me. And I ended up finding him in front of the canal that I know that one of the spawns for the sewer beast is. And
Oh
because I
God.
saw him right there in front of one of the canals, and because he was there in that right moment, my storytelling was, I want you out of the guild, but maybe I can keep him in the guild if he tanks this gigantic croc for us. He's like level 10. He's
Okay.
going to die. Like it's just done. And then that whole moment spurred up, and we got the good RNG where the sewer beast was there. The sewer beast can spawn in like 12 different areas in Stormwind, all
I
throughout the
am.
canals. So that moment just so happened to be where he was there at the right time. The sewer beast was there at the right time. There was over like 40 people in Stormwind that we could just make a raid immediately at the right time. And that is what the role play is all about. What I said earlier today,
Mm.
just asking someone, hey, do you want to get into a group? Just by him being there. And next thing you
Yeah,
know,
well,
we're
you
doing
have
that.
lots of these moments. I love watching the videos. You had also this moment just recently. I saw the video. I don't know from when it's from, but where you said, "Oh, let's go this way." You were doing a dungeon, and you were like, "Oh, let's go this way instead of that way," and you suddenly had two epic drops in the dungeon, and I was like, and you jumped up and you were like, "I called it," and I was like, "How?" These are the moments where you can't predict them. It's not predictable, and this is kind of
Mm-hmm.
the love that you spew for RP, and you keep saying it, that it's not predictable. It's something that is genuine and something in the moment and something, that everybody should strive for.
Yeah, because the thing that I always look at is like, you know, we've been playing the game for a long time and it's the same thing. So it's like, what is going to make it magical? What's going to make it meaningful? And we all know the route in Stratholme. We know what mobs to skip. We know what mobs to do. I think you
Hmm.
froze. Meet me. Can you still hear me? Uh-oh. Lagging. You're lagging a little bit. Well, now you're me. You're like 10 by 10 pixels.
Let's quick.
Do you want to end the call and redo it? Uh-oh. Yeah, no worries. I'm here. Freaking technology. It's totally okay. I mean, look, listen, I got a blow dryer. My life's fine. Sorry for my horrible voice, by the way, everyone. This is grim. My voice is alles kaputt. Is that your girlfriend's blow dryer? No, this is mine. Girls, if you know, you know. Girls, does anyone recognize this blow dryer? It looks like a bit of an old pot.
Oh,
Hello.
we're back.
Okay. We good? Should I just
What
jump back in
the
it?
heck? 1 second. Let's check. I don't know what happened.
It's okay.
There we go.
Did your stream crash? Or was it just Discord?
Um, it was both at the same time.
Yeah, it happens to me too.
So weird. Okay, just checking if we can be seen again on Twitch. Why is it not working now? What's going on? Okay, let's check. I just restarted the stream. I'm so
Okay.
sorry.
No worries.
It seems that our PCs are not made for this heat.
Yeah, no, it's getting a little crazy outside too. My PC warns me, it's like, don't go outside. Don't go outside.
Yes. Okay, we're back. Are we back? Are we back? It seems we are. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Yay!
Cool. You want to jump back in it or?
Yes, for sure.
Cool.
Wait, let me check if the chat is. Do we have chat together? No, it doesn't seem like it. 1 second. I'm gonna do that. There we go.
There we go.
Yay, we are back, people.
Beautiful.
So sorry for that,
No
but
worries.
it might have been the heat or Shobek just being too hot, and then it all went haywire. Oh.
But yeah, circling back to the going off the beaten path, I think like so many people get caught up on the objective and like the items that they need. So when you do Stratholme, we know every single pack to pull and skip, and it leaves no opportunity for players to go off the beaten path and be like, well, what if? And I think the big issue with gaming right now is that every opportunity of like the what if is kind of viewed as a waste of time or a nuisance or a grief or what are you doing? A lot of people that are new to the game might be in a group with somebody that's a veteran and they'll over pull or maybe pull a pack that they shouldn't have. And they're just like having this mental breakdown, like, bro, what are you doing? Now we're in here for like 2 more minutes, like having this crash out.
Yeah.
And so what I wanted to kind of do is just show people like, look what happens and look what can happen if you just go off the beaten path. Like what happens, look what happens if you go and kill these mob packs that you shouldn't kill. You can easily run by. But yeah, it might take you 5 or 10 more minutes, but who knows what could happen. And it's kind of tapping into that who knows what will happen and that mystery. That is where the magic in gaming has always been. That's what always has drawn us in as gamers and playing, especially MMOs, has always been this mysticism of like, what if? And having that experience where it's like, well, we don't know what might happen. But that's the beauty, right? Going to kill the pack and maybe nothing drops, but like you took that chance. Or you do and you get 2 epics. And that's what happened with us. You get 2 epics.
Exactly. You definitely did.
So it's about.
Is there,
Yeah. What were we gonna say?
No, you go.
It's about just reinstilling that ideology. I think people have been very conditioned over the years, and the game devs have developed a game to not be promoting stuff like that. Run a mythic dungeon. There's not too many extra mobs, and really, it's not even about the gear drops anymore in mythics. It's
Mm.
about clearing the time.
Mm.
So game design inherently is kind of, it's like bowling or maybe a horse with blinders. We're getting more and more narrow on what the person should focus on.
Mhm.
And that is a good and bad thing. It's a good thing because the player's experience as a individual can feel incredibly streamlined. However, now we're coming at the sacrifice of the beautiful part of the world, right? We don't get to see everything, and there's a lot from here to here. There is a lot,
Mhm.
and I think that's kind of what inspired a lot of us when we played younger games, earlier games, exploring what's here, what's there. And so we talked about that, or we showed that, and what an unbelievable moment, right? Like, I don't want to go too spiritual, but I truly believe maybe this is my ADHD tapping into a different timeline, but I do think, and I say it all the time, I even write dream on my keyboard. There's a way to speak things into existence.
Mhm.
And I truly believe you can do that in some regards. And yeah, we were able to speak that into existence, that message and that idea. And then what a moment to be rewarded with such a outcome and experience to show like, wow, that actually is so
Mm.
true. Like, look at what just happened. There's the proof in the pudding right there.
Mm.
And that makes maybe somebody want to pull an extra pack.
Yeah.
And I think that's, in a lot of ways, you can kind of break down MMOs into that idea, is just like, how can you get someone to pull an extra pack? What that means to a player and their time and their experience, where they are in the moment. Are they really there feeling the moment? Or are they there just for the objective and to get through the run quickly? I feel like
Mhm.
MMOs could actually just be broken down into, how can we get the player to pull an extra pack?
Mm. Or to be really good at hiding and notice things, because when I was leveling the night elf, I was like, "Oh my God, I can hide behind this tree," because I quickly needed to go somewhere, and I was like, "I can hide behind." Was there always this tree here? I don't remember this tree. It was like, and it's a huge ass tree. Like it's, like, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, how come that I never seen this tree? But as you say, we're so narrow-minded because we're just, chasing the goal instead of enjoying the surrounding of the area and the experience itself. Is there a character from Elf Core that you'll never forget?
Mm,
I'm quite sure that there is many, right? But is there anybody who comes first to mind?
yeah, I'm thinking Demon Chosen was cool. She crafted the first Phantom Blade.
Hmm.
Demon Garbage was cool. He was the first 60 Demon Hunter. Aussie Auntie and Melly were really, really cool. Um, it's hard to say that there's, one person that really sticks out, because I think, everyone has been, everyone's been able to bring such a unique thing forward that it's really hard to be like, oh, this person is better, or this person really stood out. Because honestly, I'm really just taken, I think, by everyone's involvement. I think everyone's
Mm.
involvement, I think, equally has surprised me. All of the players that wanted to do Demon Hunter, all the players that wanted to do the Spirit Hunter, all the players that are doing migrations on their own just to go back and help, all of the people that have showed up and added to the moment. So it's really hard. There really isn't a person that really, really sticks out, because I just think I'm really impressed with the involvement altogether.
This was kind of a trickster question, because I noticed how involved and how loving you are in treating literally everybody from Elfcore and above, not only them, but mainly them, as your own family, basically as children, as fireflies, as you just
It's
said so
not a cult.
recently. Yeah, but it's but listen, the point is you get so upset when somebody dies. Like you genuinely get as upset as they do. So I asked this question because I was sure that you would say that there is you can name names, but there is like pretty much everybody from Elfcore is, part of your
Everyone
family.
everyone has died. I would say most people have died at a high level and have gone again, and most people have died at a high level and gone again twice. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people that have put way more work than I have, and I get paid to do it. Like they put in more work than I have. So when I see people that die, I don't want them circling back to what we were talking about with hardcore. You lose people in hardcore. We lose people that are so good for the guild, so loving for the community. So when they
Mm-hmm.
die, it it's so personal on me because not only are they amazing for the guild and we might lose that person, everyone else on the server loses that person. And if that happens
Mm-hmm.
at large and a consistent basis, this is how things die. This is how things fall apart. This is how things change and not feel the same. So I take it personal and I try my best to say, listen, if you don't go again, that means someone else doesn't. And that means maybe a human doesn't, maybe a dwarf doesn't, maybe a gnome doesn't, maybe a horde doesn't. And then maybe we don't at all. And then maybe we don't even get to the
Mm-hmm.
goal. Maybe things slow down and we don't even get to make it. So it's always a very personal thing when you are leading a thing and
Mm-hmm.
you want this to continue and you also see this kind of experience kind of coming about and you want to keep it there. And we have a long time till plus. And so in a lot of ways, I like what's going on here. And I also don't want that to end. So there's the streamer
Mm-hmm.
side of me. There's a responsibility of me being a guild leader. There's a responsibility of me being a server leader. There's a responsibility of me being a molten core race locked leader. There's an importance of me being a player on the server. All of these things are equally important. And when someone dies, it affects all of those things at large. So we always want people to go again.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And so that's why I take it very
Amazing.
personal. Because again, we lose
Yeah.
great people. Whether you are a
Yeah.
human, dwarf, gnome, horde, we lose that on the server. And that is felt, maybe not at a macro, but it is felt at a micro when someone logs in and Stranglethorn Vale's a little empty. Maybe the orc warrior didn't get a person to group up with. And maybe he just
Mm.
played the game for 4 hours and he didn't see anyone. Maybe he doesn't log on tomorrow.
Mm.
You know, that's what
Yeah,
happens.
hardcore is very unforgiving, especially emotionally, because if get to a certain level and then you're all invested and then you die, especially with freak accidents or anything, it must be,
It can feel like it's robbed from
shattering.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, it can.
I will get there eventually. Um, if everything goes exactly as you hope that it will, how would you like people to remember Elf Core years from now? Not today, tomorrow, but years from now.
Still going. Any
Still
game,
going.
any game, I don't see myself ending streaming. And I think we're entering the golden era of MMOs, and then it's only going to get better. And I want to take Elf Core. Maybe the name changes, maybe it evolves, but I think the identity of what this is, it started with Bankai, and Bankai is now evolved into Elf Core. Elf Core is going to evolve into something as well. And I think as we usher into the new great era of MMOs, we are going to just always kind of like stick together. That's what Elf Core has been, and that's why I put so much effort into it, because it's like, well, why don't we just make the guild now? Like, why don't we make it where whatever comes out, this is what it's going to be about. This is the energy that we want it to kind of be around and that identity. So Elf Core is essentially the adoption of the concept of the ways that we fell in love with in gaming, and we take that anywhere. So 10 years down the line, it'll probably be the same thing, and it'll probably be with some of the same people. But that philosophy will grow and evolve. And this is like the kind of the birth part of the ideology and the beginning of restoring the RP and MMORPG, restoring the MMO and MMORPG, restoring the way of gaming and actually going back to playing the damn game and not just, brain rot. What's my bis? Speeding through it, being done in a week, and then being bored, and then saying the game is ass when you've alienated everything along the way. So this is really just something that's going to just continue on, and that I will try my best to continue on.
Very nice.
So it's
We
not
look
like this is
forward
just
to that.
ending right here on Skull Rock. I don't think it's going to be ending, because I always play with
No.
my community, and this feels like whatever server we play on, we have enough influence to make it in a positive way. And usually, no matter what game we do guilds, and whether it was Ashes, Throne of Liberty, New World, people always wanted to interact with us because we are playing it in a way that people resonate with. And so now with Elfcore, again, there's been so much momentum that now it's like unstoppable. And so now we can go into a server or a new game, and now I feel like we can actually make an impact in like a really good way to that MMO ecosystem and influence the games, like actually influence it and be able to make that experience for like everyone on that server a better experience at a macro and micro level. And then hopefully it keeps growing and becoming bigger and bigger, where now it's not even just like the server we're playing on, but it's like other games. Maybe it goes to the FPSs. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, you're talking about community, and you've built something that is much bigger, than a Twitch channel, or like yourself. It's much bigger than just you. But what in your opinion makes a healthy gaming community?
A healthy gaming community is a server where the community is based on the game. So that's really on the devs to nurture, because a lot of the times, again, players are making decisions based on devs. So what we're doing is, because we're playing on a private server, we're able to kind of like, pseudo this. But I do think a community is that, a lot of people are stopping and smelling the roses. They understand that it's about the journey and the destination. Then the destination, it's about, Thunder Fury was really just the friends that we met along the way, and not actually, sacrificing everything just to have the Thunder Fury.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a healthy community is people that realize that. Not to say that you don't want sweats and passionate people or anything like that. No, but it's about having those people also recognize those other things. And like, you can be passionate in parsing and performing and speed leveling, but you can also become passionate when it comes to other players in the world. I'm not sitting here saying I don't want passion. I don't want people to evolve the narrative and figure out these crazy ways of doing things I've never done before. I want the passion, but I also want the compassion. Both of those. Healthy server. And you need a little spice. It's good to have rivalry. It's good to have toxicity. I come from paintball. Paintball in the early O's, in the early 2000s, was grown men reenacting going to war. And it was this expression of, brotherhood, camaraderie, and being there for one another. And when you're on the field, you do not hold back, right? You let it all out on the field. But then afterwards, there's always that good sportsmanship. But when it's out on the field, we're out on the field. And it's kill or be killed. And having that also with the spice of passion, compassion, and understanding that this is the game, and that we want things to be real and vibrant. And when it is Devil Sword Mafia or it's world bosses and guilds are trying to steal, and like it's really just about that. There is a threshold where I hope it doesn't get crossed. And if we can stay without crossing that threshold of true toxicity, but keeping it vibrant, competitive, and good nature, and understanding that like this is competition, it is kill or be killed, but then afterwards being able to be like, okay, I understand that this is a bit, this is a moment that we are trying to emulate and amplify. And so that I also think with that spice, controlled spice, also creates a really really good community.
Fight each other and then meet in the tavern, and have a
Yes.
drink. That's
Fight
basically
each
what it's
other and
about.
then meet in the tavern. If that could be instilled in every large guild and every community, and understanding that these moments are not moments that like define you, but these are moments that define us, and that experience that, like how you said earlier, what event is most memorable? These moments that mean something to people, when you chase that and not the like, I'm going to make this person never be able to play the game or this guild ever log in and whatnot. Like it's about, like you said, fighting, and then let's have a drink in the tavern afterwards.
Our communities are a bit, I mean, yours is huge, mine is still in the making, but they overlap in this regard. I have basically also made a community where, you know, exactly this kind of behavior, passion and compassion are kind of the main focus of the community itself. So I am very grateful to have joined Elf Corps and experiencing it, firsthand anyway, even with the time difference. So that's always a bummer. Has your community ever surprised you though? Has anything ever happened where you were genuinely surprised by your community that you didn't see coming?
Like I said, the involvement, people
Okay.
dying at 60 and going again. We have Ditzy, he died at 60, he went again. We have a guy named Donzo. What
Mm-hmm.
a, oof, I get goosebumps. What a loving person. He is a 60 tank druid. This guy goes above and beyond for anyone at 60. I mean, this guy will fucking run dungeons after dungeons, help, teach, everything. I mean, again, I can't, I could literally go. We have, his name is fleeting me. Aussie Auntie lives in Australia and she dies. He makes a new character just to level with her all the time to protect her. All the time.
Aw.
Every time. We have Vindolf helping Neve. We have Mama helping everyone. We have Jackie doing migration events. I can't, I could sit here all day and say a million things about people doing things that I never asked. Completely selfless. Completely selfless. People doing the whirlwind acts. We do events for warriors in the guild to help them all at a large scale get their whirlwind axe. It's a very challenging quest. But we make it an RP event, and we make it an event for people where like they can now do it together. And it's just kind of like this group and band of warriors becoming pride and getting their whirlwind axe. You can't say one person is sticking out, because dude, it is a collective. It's a fucking cult.
Yes,
It's a
everybody
cult.
says that. It's a cult at this point.
Happy
Every time
Poppy,
I see,
Happy
yeah.
Poppy has changed his entire sleep schedule and existence for this guild. You don't understand. I love guilds, and like I grew up on private servers, and we'd always like, my brother and I, we'd always make our own guild, and we'd always like, we'd have these communities, and we'd have this energy. That's what this guild is. This guild is the epitome of what I've dreamed about having a guild. Like this guild is an
Mm-hmm.
actual fucking guild. I'm so sorry for cussing, but it is an actual
No.
guild. This is an actual guild from start to finish, from top down, from down to top. This is 100% guild. People are invested in each other every step of the way. It is unreal. It is unreal. We have 2 guilds, and the project is like at the end of its freaking cycle, and we're still kicking it 2 guilds,
Mm-hmm.
150 to 200 people online. You can't even get that on the main sauce. You can't even get
Yeah, yeah. No,
200
you can't.
people. Someone tell me a TVC guild that has 200 people online, or a retail guild that has 200 people online active, going through all of
No,
the content,
you
playing,
can't say one.
interactive, going back and helping people, spending the time to spend 40 plus minutes running from Menethil Harbor all the way to Stormwind, and then waiting another 15, 20 to get people all organized and grouped up
Mm-hmm.
out of your own time, by the way. You're not, that's
Yeah.
like getting home from work and not leveling up. That is
Mm.
the embodiment of pulling an extra pack. The
Mm-hmm.
selflessness of wasting time to allow the opportunity of the universe to present you an experience that you haven't had before. And I know I'm probably sounding like absolute yappy, but trust
No, no,
me,
no.
this, you might not be able to fabricate these things into words, but this is what is happening underneath the hood, whether you are consciously aware of it or not. This is what is happening in an MMO. And this is what I've spent my entire life, my entire career, my entire who I am. I'm 32 years old. I've played MMOs my entire life. I played every genre of game. I've watched every game rise and die. I've been there from the
Mm.
Halo 2 lobbies. I've gone there to the GameStop Super Smash Brothers tournaments, Halo tournaments, online. I've done everything. I've done it all. I've been there for OG RuneScape Wildy, OG RuneScape Merchanting. I've been there since vanilla. I've been there since the rise and fall of raiding. I've been there since the rise and fall of arena. I've been there since the rise and fall of WoW in general. I've seen
Mm.
it all. I know what pulls people in and what pulls people away. I know what pulls me in and what pulls me away. I've seen private servers rise and die. I've seen microchasms of communities in all of these different games. Halo, RuneScape, World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, Fortnite, any like online sphere you can imagine. I've been there. I've experienced it
Mm.
all. I know what things drive people and like what makes it feel like what World of Warcraft felt when it was like 2008, 10, 11, 12, when like every single celebrity was having a freaking Blizzard commercial saying, play World of Warcraft right now. And
Mr.
everyone was talking
T.
about it. Everyone was on it. It was everywhere. It's on the freaking news. So,
Yes,
yeah.
totally. Well, basically, you have made lifelong friends through this and through your community, right?
That and or short term. I think there's nothing wrong with being able to leave an impact. We have had thousands of people quit,
Mm.
but something that they'll take is maybe a bit of that experience, and maybe that changes how they game. Maybe that changes how they party up. Maybe they pull an extra
Mm.
pack, right?
Yeah, maybe they just make one little difference.
That's what it's all about. Let that compound.
Exactly.
That's how you make change.
Yes. I have a lightning round for you. You
Lightning
ready? You
round.
just lightning round, which means quick answers only.
Yep, yep,
Yes?
yep.
Alliance or Horde?
Alliance.
Favorite city?
Darnassus.
Favorite tavern?
Goldshire Retail. Moonguard.
Okay, you got me. Favorite NPC?
The demon hunter that I leveled 60, I forgot his name, and then the demon hunter at the top of the tower in Silithus at the I don't even know this Cenarian Circle Camp. He's purple hair, demon hunter, blindfold, full blood fang, and then the other one. I forgot his name. Some crazy stuff. Crazy names like
Okay,
Vilash or something.
chat will know.
They'll know.
uh, one race you'd secretly love to RP more.
High elf. Please give us it. Don't change anything about it. Just give us high elves.
Mm-hmm. One class you would never main.
Druid. I let my girls cat form.
Okay. Um, one thing you'd remove from WoW tomorrow, today.
Layers.
Okay. Um, favorite Bankai,
Zenbun Zakura.
Kageyoshi. Yes. Yes, love that
Yeah.
one. Yeah, your background is giving it away, kind
Yeah.
of. By the way, my favorite Bankai since forever, so it's fun. It's a funny thing when I saw your background, I was like, it has to be that one, or it's
It's
none
so
other.
good. The sword falling into the floor and the water and the cherry blossoms. It's everything.
It's just the first time I figured out it's actual blades, I was like, my jaw was hitting the floor. I was like, oh my God, this is too good to be true. So yes, we've talked about journey. We've talked about role play. We've talked about the incredible community, you've built, and that is kind of, sustaining itself now. So I'd love to just finish with some final questions.
Mm-hmm.
What has World of Warcraft taught you about people, be it good or bad? Doesn't matter, or both.
There's a lot of different perspectives. Um, be more passionate. Be more not in a hurry. Understand that there are people that are at all different levels of skill and they have stuff going on. So being compassionate. I don't know if that answers it, but
Okay.
that's what came to me.
Okay, that's amazing. And what has role play taught you about yourself?
The limitless excitement of stories that you can create allows me to trust myself. It allows me to like I don't think when I say these things. By the way, I don't think about anything. I just do it. So I think what's so beautiful about what role play has taught me is that it has taught me to have more confidence and more trust in myself because the more and more I role play, the better and better I get. And that is just trusting that whatever happens is happening. I don't think about things. I don't try to plan ahead. It just unfolds. And the more and more you trust the unfolding of life,
Mm.
I think that's where kind of confidence starts to compound within yourself. Because once you start to try to plan ahead and try to formulate, like, oh, like, how is this going to work? Very simple
Mm.
example is go to talk to a girl. It's about just trusting
Hmm.
yourself that, it'll all be okay. It'll work out. And that's what role play has taught me, right? I meet somebody and it's like, all right, we're going to run with this thing. And
Hmm.
I surprise myself. I surprise myself all the time with what we
Has it
create.
has it worked on girls?
No, I don't talk to girls that I
Okay.
know. That shit's scary. But hey, behind my keyboard and in World of Warcraft, I'm a different demon.
We do all the fallopian tubes in this chat.
Yes, we do.
Um, yes, we do. Imagine like 10 years from now, someone is making a documentary about role play in World of Warcraft, and they ask, "Who was Shobek?" What do you hope would people say?
Catalyst.
Oh, that's deep. Please elaborate.
I kind of like have this I hope it doesn't sound egotistical, but I think sometimes you have to be egotistical. I have
Mhm.
this like idea of like Luffy, and Luffy wants to become the king of the pirates. And so he starts off with this like dream of wanting to be, and he goes after that. And I feel like when I think of Shobek and the evolution of him, because in a lot of ways, Shobek isn't me. Shobek is something separate. Shobek is something I pour myself into, right? Shobek is the Batman, the guy that I like. I'm Bruce Wayne. I step into Shobek. I step into being Batman. And I hope that when people look at the story of Shobek, that he was like the catalyst into something great, right? The era of like, you know, the pirates and being the king of MMOs, or being the guy who like seriously kind of shifts the energy of how people game, and like being the catalyst of that.
Mhm.
So that's what I hope. That's where my ship is steering. Like my ship is steering towards that. And that's what I would want.
That's amazing.
That's my
I mean,
Bankai.
yes, you've inspired literally thousands of people, to tell stories, to make friends, to slow down, and to try role play, some even for the first time. So if someone is watching tonight and decides to create their very first character, or maybe try again because of this conversation, um, what do you hope they take with them into Azeroth?
When you log in, doesn't matter what race you make on, doesn't matter where you are. I think you can log into any version of the game. Just make sure when you log into the game, if you see somebody in a starting zone, try to group up with them. You just
Hmm.
don't know what might happen. That might be your best friend that you might hang out with all the time in Discord for the next 10 years. How did it happen
Yeah.
when we were kids? You walked up to someone, yo, dude, you want to be best friends? You know,
Totally.
that's literally how it was. What's the difference between that and when you go into an MMO and you see somebody like, hey, I'm new to this game. You want to be friends?
Hmm.
Yeah, sure. Let's go quest together. It's not
Hmm.
complicated. That's how I met my
No, it
friend
actually
Spencer
isn't.
in my homeroom. I walked in. I was like, okay, this guy looks like a surfer dude. Yo, what's up, man? I'm Nico. Yo, what's up? I'm Spencer. You want to be friends? Yeah, cool. What's up? Boom, done. I have a friend
Yeah,
named
but
Jeff. He had gauges. He skateboarded. We ended up bonding over World of Warcraft. It's so simple. Like
hmm
it really is. Everything is so simple. It's so simple.
mm, yeah, it actually is. It's more simple than people think it is. Nowadays we're so focused on social media, or whatever somebody says in on Insta, on TV, or wherever, of how we should behave or what we should do, and yet we forgot about how we were as children. If you just go back to how you were as a child and how you did things back then, like, it should be as easy as going back.
Yeah, people
um
think it needs to be this grand, male bird dance. Yo, this is like you want to be like my part. Like, dude, it's literally just homie. It's as simple as yo, and I'm new to the game. Do you want to? I just logged in. You want to queue? You want to quest? Yes or no?
yeah.
If he says no, guess what? That doesn't mean it's over. Just ask the next
Hmm.
person, and just ask the next person, and you'll eventually get
Just be
somebody.
nice. Yeah, be nice,
Hmm.
basically. Like, there was a time in retail when we had lots of new players come in, and when you would do, dungeons or time walks, there was lots of them leveling, and I saw, like, single-handedly how people were actually, mobbing those poor souls, going like, oh, let's skip this and let's do this, and don't pull that, and blah blah blah. And as I usually always play a tank, I was just like, no, no, we're doing, the right way, and just pass on them the loot, give them the loot, and they were so genuinely nice about it. So it's like, it's crazy how toxic it can get, and how unbelievably remarkable it is that you and your community are literally just swooping over and taking that toxicity away. right? It's like yours is just showing how simple it actually is to do it without, much of a change to the game necessarily.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm
Um,
very honored.
mhm.
And Elfcore has honored me, and you guys have honored me, and I'm very grateful.
Okay, two more things. Well, yeah,
Hmm.
two and a half more things, and then we're done. I'm gonna leave your poor throat to rest for the next 48
Thank you.
hours. um, if you could leave everyone watching this, be it newcomer or your community or my community, with just one message, literally one message, one sentence, what would it be?
Bunk high, baby. No,
That's so very Shobek.
but I don't know. I think I've I think I've said that sentence to there's a different in this podcast with someone listening, if you made it this far, there's a sentence that we've already said, and that sentence will be different for everyone. Anyone listening out of this entire podcast, one of these sentences would have spoken to them. And I feel like I leave that
Hmm.
sentence throughout this podcast for them, to them. So there isn't really anything to kind of wrap up because I feel like we've spoken about so many different layers and so many different things that things will stick out to the different people. And I hope people that enjoyed watching and enjoyed listening feels a bit differently, or maybe feels more strongly compelled or whatnot about something. And I want to leave it at that. And just thank you for inviting me, and thank you for giving me the time to speak about these things and yap. And I'm so sorry about my voice. My voice is cooked. My voice is
Oh
cooked.
God. I'm so sorry too. I'm gonna leave you with two things before I start my ending monologue, and then you don't need to yap anymore. But I'm opening quickly chat to just see if you have any questions. Chat to me or
Ask
to
away.
Shobek. We'll quickly wait and answer anything. And Shobek, in the meanwhile, while they do that, do you have a question for me? Haha.
Um,
Because you for sure
mm,
didn't do the homework like I did.
I apologize. I don't really have a question, to be honest. I don't know. The whole thing's been so emotional. So I mean, it's been such a talk. So I don't really know what to ask. This whole thing's been crazy. Mama has a question. Let's see. Maybe she asked it, and then she'll ask it to you, and we can talk about it.
Okay, sure.
What is no?
Uh,
Don't say the name in Elfcore yet. No, 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 no. If you end up
no, no,
dying
no,
and
no.
not go again, then say it. That'd be special.
No, if I die one day, you will find out, and if I rise, then you will find out again. But yeah, no,
Hmm.
I'm gonna stay incognito for now, for sure.
Do I have any experience with the private RP servers, DivX, Echelon, and Epsilon? No, I don't. Those don't ring a bell, unfortunately. A lot of the times when I would play private servers was vanilla servers that would arise and quickly die, and then like fun servers like Twink servers or like PvP servers. Will she start playing classic over retail?
Do you want me to answer that?
Yeah, would you?
Very inclined to. There is a problem though with it, which is my community would kill me. um, I
Yeah, I know that.
basically started this because of well, my journey because of housing and because I had a pancake food truck before, but I had to stop it because I got cancer, and I really wanted to make a restaurant in WoW. And when they announced housing, I did so. And this is kind of where my community, this is why I asked you your favorite tavern, because I run a tavern in game, and basically,
I gave
it's
the
my kind
worst
of go-to
answer.
place.
I gave
But
the word. I would literally Moonguard Goldshire. I mean, it's Showbeck. You had one job.
It's
Sorry.
fine. No, but it's the point is that I'm really enjoying though classic. Really, really. So I made a character on Sod, I made a character on and you're an elf core on hardcore, and I'm really enjoying the really slow pace. So you see me now more playing classic than ever. I never did before. So I'm basically I didn't log retail unless somebody was like, "Oh, can I visit you?" I made an ice cream place. Imagine that. I made an ice
Oh,
cream place, and wow! So it was like it's a
that's
lot,
badass.
but but the main thing, to be fair, is that, and this is my plea to you, right, Shobek, because I did make an elf core character. Um, if anything happens to me and my account gets, put on hold or just, suspended until my daughters take over or whatever because of my cancer, um, please keep the character inside. I will and tell you who I am, but please
Oh,
keep always the character there because this is why I started housing and I made that restaurant and my mod and my husband who is also
well,
a
maybe you
tank in
can
my
message
guild.
me and we'll have the mods know your name.
Yeah, so it's about staying alive in game, even though you do not maybe stay alive,
Oh,
for
I'm
real.
gonna cry
So
now.
that's
Stop.
why I would no, not crying. But the point is that, it's about, as Belantro and many of my community know, it's the legacy that you leave behind because you never know. Life can be as unpredictable as ever. It's cancer for me, but it could be, I always say I could get hit by a car, or eaten by a shark, whatever. But the point is, please keep me there. I wanted to pan out into classic because I always wanted to stay there and be a character that is everywhere. So this is my only thing that I really want. And my restaurant is still the OG restaurant like it was day one. So it's about
I'm getting
Shobak. I
fucked
said not
up.
no
I'm getting
crying.
fucked up.
No, listen. This
I thought this was a
this
podcast.
I'm so sorry. Okay, I stop it here. But the point is, you you know yourself how unpredictable life is, right? And we all know it. We had each one of us saw, videos on YouTube about, streamers or loved ones or friends that have now tombstones in WoW because, they passed away. We all of us know somebody who had this battle or, died from it. It's important that we leave a legacy after us that will stay forever. So this is what I'm doing at the moment, and this is why my community came and helped so much when I announced that I need a GoFundMe. I have this treatment. I have 9 months to 1 year to live, and they all riled up and they were making, events and stuff. So they have been super supportive. But still, the notion is there that, we can die any day, anytime, and it will just be, our legacy, what we did. So this is why I started streaming and why I wanted to talk to you because you're this amazing person and I will never forget what you said with passion and compassion. That should be like you should trademark that one because it is so super important to realize that we're just people. People, we're souls behind this screen and this keyboard. We're not bots. We're not AI. We are here, we live, we breathe, we die, we love, we hate. We have that passion and we have that compassion, and that should be, a thing that should be remembered. So,
Mm.
yeah,
Oh,
I'm sorry, I made you cry. I'm so sorry.
it's okay. Um, yeah, wow, so much emotion. Yeah, I'm so sorry you're going through that. I don't want to, focus on it too much, but my family has a history with that stuff, so it hits a little different for me. So yeah.
I'm so sorry,
Mm.
dear. It's never to be fair, can I be really honest? It's way harder on those that are left behind and that, you know, um have to watch their loved ones suffer, because we usually who suffer, we, kind of pull out the strength from the universe itself or wherever, I don't know. But for the others, they just see you suffering and can't do anything about it.
Mm,
And this is the bad thing.
yeah.
So I understand where you are, coming from, and I'm so sorry that, this is has been a topic for you. It's never easy. Um, so yeah, you please fight on as you always do.
Mm,
It's about the mindset about it. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up before Shobek starts crying again. Um, thank you so much. I really am really thankful. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here at my table and listening to what you have to say. And thank you for sharing of your stories and your passion and your experiences and your wonderful community. Thank you so much, chat. You are all amazing. You have built something wonderful over the years, something, the stupid people will be envious about and the smart people will love you for. I know you've inspired so many people to kind of take that first step into RP, and I have no doubt whatsoever, right, that you will inspire so many more, and that Elf Core Bankai and Elf Core and whatever happens after it will be truly legendary. So just know that you will always have a seat at my table, even if it's in Goldshire Inn. But you know, I'm gonna make one. I'm gonna make
thank
one.
you.
And to everyone watching, thank you so much for spending the day/evening with us, wherever you're from, be it, uh, EU, NA, Australia, Japan, China. I'm here, we're here. Wherever, you know, you are new to role playing or you have been doing it, you're part of Showbag's community, my community, um, or maybe tonight you even heard for the first time about it. I hope you just leave with one simple thought, and that is that Azeroth is more than just a world we play in. We kind of live in this to share it. So it's a world we share, and be kind to one another and have passion and compassion. And just remember that there will always be a seat at my table. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Shobek, for being here with us. If you ever need anything from me, please don't hesitate to write me. And thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Thank
Always
everyone.
gladly.
You have a great one.
Yes, you'll have a great one. I
Bye.
might log my classic character. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.